For this tutorial, I'm going to actually start off with some code that I've used in a previous tutorial on repetition. And the reason is because I'm really only going to change one thing about this tutorial, which is where the exit condition occurs. So just to recap the content from the previous tutorial, I've asked the basic question, what is the magic word, like a little game or a little reminder that kids play with their, or that parents play with their kids. So what is the magic word? The magic word is please. And until you say that word please, you're not going to get whatever it is that you're looking for. So a lot of what we looked at with the previous repetition, with the previous loop, still stays the same. You're going to see that this is actually a very minor change, but it is important. And then I'm going to go into a little bit more detail about what the meaning of that actually is. So in this loop, we have the exit condition at the beginning of the loop, and as a result, because we have the exit condition at the beginning of the loop, this variable called word needs to have been set before we enter the loop. And the way we do that is outside of the loop, we prompt the user for entry of the word. What is the magic word? And then as soon as the loop comes in, we actually check that condition. If the user has entered please, then we make it to the put statement, which is outside of the loop, and the program ends. But if the user enters anything except for the word please, they're going to be asked again. They're going to be told that they have failed the condition. They have not told us that word is equal to please, and so they're asked again, they are prompted again for that word. Now Turing actually allows you to place this exit condition anywhere you want, but I only allow students, and I only recommend that until you're an advanced programmer, you should only be putting this exit condition in two places, either the very beginning of the loop or the very end of the loop. And so now I'm going to move this to the end of the loop, and I'm going to show you what the result of that is. At first it might not actually look very different, but it actually is different. So let's just go ahead and move it. So let's see, I left in here in these comments from the last tutorial, I said that there are two things that you must keep in mind. All loops have to have an exit condition. If you don't have an exit condition, you end up with what's known as an infinite loop. But you must have a way to change the variable inside the loop, because same problem could occur. You could end up with an infinite loop. So we have to make sure that we have an exit condition and that we also have a way to change that exit condition inside the loop. So I have that. That's met here. Here's the loop structure, and inside there I can change the variable called word, and I have my exit condition for it. Now when I run this, you're going to see something very odd occurs right away. So I go ahead and run it. I ask, what is the magic word? And I'm going to say the magic word is no. That's not the magic word. What is the magic word? So you might think, okay, well this is actually fine, and if I enter please, then everything seems fine. So what about if so this one seemed to work fine. If I run it again, now what if I enter please right away? I immediately get told that is not the magic word. And you could ask yourself very reasonably here, well, hold on a second. That is the magic word. Why am I being asked again? And the reason is we entered the word please for this part of the code, but our loop, because we've moved our exit condition to the bottom, our loop automatically checks to see whether or not we've entered something for the magic word. So this is the difference. This is the big difference between having the exit condition at the beginning and at the end. If we have the exit condition at the beginning, it means that whatever code we've put inside our loop, we want that code to execute at least one time. So there's no way that we're not going into this loop. And if that's the case, if we know we're going into this loop, we might not want to ask that question before we go into the loop. It might be enough for us to simply wait until we get into the loop and ask, what is the magic word? Then we get the word, and we're going to exit when the user enters please. Now I made a change there, and it might look like that was a pretty safe change to make, but I've actually made the program a little bit worse right now. So if I stop the program and restart it, what is the magic word? Well, first of all, it now works correctly. If I type in please, it correctly recognizes that that was the magic word and it stops. What about if I put in something else? What is the magic word? Hello. It just asked me what is the magic word. Goodbye. And so, yes, it's looping. Yes, it's continuing to prompt me for the magic word, but I'm not actually getting any information about am I right or wrong, etc. So, although this having the loop at the end means that I didn't have to put this original code in place to ask the question once before the loop, it does have a downside, which is it might not your program might not act exactly the way you want it to now. Now I can get around this. I can actually, once the user has actually told me the word, I can put in a statement like this. If word is not equal to please, then put, and I can't remember exactly what I had before, but I can put something like, that is not the magic word. And if, but I think that this code is actually less clear than the previous code that we had put together. So this is another example of nesting. I talk about nesting in a previous tutorial where I talk about nesting if statements. Here you can see I actually have an if statement that's inside my loop, which means this if statement, along with all of these other commands, is going to get executed over and over and over again. So now how does this program work? We start the loop. We immediately ask for a value for this variable word. If the word is not equal to please, then we give the user a warning that they haven't entered the magic word. And then we are going to exit when word equals please. Now, seeing this not equal please and then this equals please can be a little bit confusing. But think about, what if the user entered the word please? If the user entered the word please, well then this condition would fail. Actually, I missed a bracket here. So we would never output this statement. So if the user enters the word please, then the program skips from this line directly to this line, and because they entered please, the loop will exit. And this way we end up with a program that actually looks like my original program. What is the magic word? Hello? That is not the magic word. Goodbye? That is still not the magic word. And then please, thank you, please is the magic word. So that is a loop with the test condition at the end. And as I said, I really encourage you to only put test conditions or exit conditions at the beginning or the end of loops, because putting them in the middle of loops, it can be done with Turing. It can't be done with all languages. It can be done with Turing, but it actually can cause a lot of confusion. This exit when is a very powerful statement, and it may be convenient. It may look convenient for you to put it somewhere else other than the beginning or the end. But as your programs get more complicated, it can also, because it's powerful, it also can, abuses of it can cause severe problems in your programs when your programs get long. Even a short program, it would cause some people to trip over it. So consider that, go back, maybe compare, look at the two tutorials, compare the two different forms of loops, and as you are writing your own loops, ask yourself, do I need a loop where I want to run whatever's inside the loop at least once? Or, in the previous form of loop, do I want a loop where I might not run and I might not go into the loop at all? That's it for this tutorial.